And then they started getting transition. They got stops. They got layups. The defense unlocked the run where they brought it within one. But, John, they didn't lead at any point in the second half.
No, and the biggest surprise to me was Cade Cunningham. I mean, so you never worry about the effort. Great block on
Harden.
On Harden,
Great.
that was awesome. And you see him playing, coast to coast. But if you're the conference player of the month, you're in the MVP category and conversation, you should score more than 10 points.
Yes, and only 2 of those came in the second half, and they were both at the charity stripe. They're the only 2 free throws he attempted all day. I'm with JB. I don't know how he goes to the rim as often as he does, and he only gets 2 free throws. But I'll point this out. I thought he outplayed James Harden, their lead guard. The problem is Cleveland had a better team around him, right? I mean, this is the problem. Okay, if we take the Pistons' glasses off, and I'm not saying the Cavs were right because they won a regular season game, but if I take my Pistons goggles off, teams like Cleveland or San Antonio that have a rim protector and can force the ball out of Cade's hands create a problem, right?
Yes.
So if you have Mobley, who's a defensive player of the year, or Wemby, who's a freak and alien, it makes it harder for the Pistons to finish at the rim. And they struggled finishing at the rim. I don't know if there was something like the ball was all lubed up, like they were turning it over. They couldn't finish at the rim. It was just not a good night for them. I'm not willing to say we can't hang with them in a 7-game series and they were right, but you saw the concerns. I mean, they didn't even have Donovan Mitchell, and the Pistons led 0 minutes of the second half.
Right, but you did have contributions from 4 other players. Yeah, and I'd even throw in Duncan Robinson a little bit. I mean, it's not like he's lighting the world on fire, but you had 19 from Tobias Harris. You had 24 from Jalen Duren. You had 16 from Asar. You had another 13 from Javonte Green. Ron Holland was even, he was 2 of 3 behind the arc.
Yeah, early he had a couple of them.
Yeah, and that's when you're like, okay, well, maybe, hey, we're starting to figure things out. 38% behind the arc. That's why I said it's not that they weren't shooting, but they did force the ball out of Cade Cunningham's hands. He had 14 assists, which you like that, but 10 points, only 2 in the second half. Come on, man. We need more than that.
Think about this, too. At the half, they made the note on the broadcast. The Pistons had actually shot better from 3 than 2 at the half, which is rare. But I think the concern was if they're going to shoot this poorly from 2.
Got to have both.
Right, but the 3-point shots probably aren't going to continue, and they didn't in the second half. And if you can't finish at the rim, and it gets really hard for them in the offensive end, if you're not locking it on defense, and again, they only really did that late when they made their run, I trace it all the way back to defense, but the concern is still the same. Without a number 2, if you can't finish at the rim, if the other team has the ability to shut you down and put a lid on it, they're going to run into some really tough spots. You're going to be gripping the steering wheel.
It raises an eyebrow. That's about all it does for me. It doesn't, widen my eyes. It doesn't do a lot of things that a game like that, if it were to happen in a postseason series, even at that point, right? You got 7 games to win 4.
Yeah, if they play the Cavs in a postseason matchup,
I don't think they sweep them.
No, they'd lose a game. They'd lose multiple games.
Yeah. So they need to play with their superpower, and that is effort on defense. That is something that we have talked about. That's one thing that we enjoy about this team. It's what they do different than 98% of the rest of the NBA, and we didn't see it for 100% of the game last night.
Let's get to the phones. I got Stu, who's been waiting to jump in since we got on the air. Stu, thoughts on the Pistons?
Hey, good morning. How y'all doing?
Good.
I know we can't always blame the officials, but I noticed since Cade Cunningham made that quote about getting his points the right way or whatever, his free throw percentage has went down. Not his percentage, but his
attempts
has went down dramatically. And last night he didn't take his first 2 free throws till the fourth quarter when he got hammered throughout the game. And James Harden, who pretty much shot the same, like 5 of 22, but had 18 points because he went to the free throw line.
I'm trying to do the math on this to see if if this is in your head or if it's true that his attempts have gone down. So he only had 2 yesterday. He had 6 on Sunday against the Magic. He had 5 Friday night against Cleveland, 4 against OKC, 5 against San Antonio, 1 against the Bulls, and then the GQ game he was 3 for 3, only got 3 free throw attempts. That does appear to be down. I don't think the officials were reading Gentleman's Quarterly and factoring it in, but statistically it would appear you're correct. He hasn't had as many free throw attempts since the article came out. You're rolling your eyes. I'm not suggesting the referees saw that and said, what?
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like he's not going to buy into cheap fouls, so they're not going to give him any fouls? Like, I would think it would be the other way around.
Right, they'd respect him more because he called out floppers, and they'd give him the benefit of the doubt, which hasn't happened.
Cade is entering that superstar status. Mm-hmm. And I think next year he starts getting the superstar call. I don't know necessarily why he's not getting it now, because he is in that, and maybe it's because of the style that Detroit plays defensively, that they believe, hey, we're going to call it equal both ways. So if you're going to be aggressive, then we're going to allow the other team to be aggressive and get away with something.
That's an interesting theory, because we always say we want a game to be called the same for both teams. So we want the Pistons to get away with a little clutch grab, little swat, hand on a hip. Did you hit the ball and the hand? We're not going to call that, right? Well,
they actually had more free throw attempts than Cleveland did. So I mean, it's I don't
think this is a conspiracy theory.
No,
we'll make some time for that later in the hour. This Jim Carrey thing has people all wound up. But yeah, Cade, since that cover with GQ, has actually played really well. He's averaging damn near 12 assists a game. 24 points per game. I don't think there's really much.
No, I don't think.
But last night was not his finest hour, right? 10 points in a game like that in a spotlight spot.
When your team needs you the most.
Yeah, and again, he found his teammates. They're going to trap him. They're going to collapse on him. They're going to blitz him. He's going to get rid of the basketball. He's going to make the right basketball play. Yeah. The difference is, Tobias Harris didn't score till the second half. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have as many go get your own shot and make your own shot guys as Cleveland does. And that is one of the reasons there's merit to Cleveland being a tough series in the postseason. They present a few problems for the Pistons. And I think last night, even without Donovan Mitchell, we saw it. And I don't want to ignore it. Like you said, it's an eyebrow raiser. You pay attention when something like that happens.
And I am curious to those that are listening, what effect did that have on you last night? Was it just raise an eyebrow, you just going to shrug it off, or is it cause for major concern?
Now, Tom, you have said you don't think the Pistons, you're not as high on them as we are. So how did it affect you?
This is funny how this is reversed, because I thought they'd win 50-plus games this year going in. I thought they'd be a really good team, and I think they are a really good team. But I think their lack of scoring is really going to pinch them in the playoffs. I think I've said all along, they are winning some games because other teams are taking nights off. Okay, they're a very good basketball team. I've been so high on Cade Cunningham from the get-go. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to get pinched late in the East playoffs.
Second, third round
in a 7-game series against a team like they played last night or the Celtics. I think, okay, somebody text us in. If their effort is superpower is effort, well, you're going to see a lot more effort, and it's going to equalize out in the playoffs. And I believe that. And I think the Celtics and Cavs have enough scoring so when the Pistons go in these droughts in games that they're going to get pinched off. I do.
I don't dispute they could get pinched offensively. What I would push back on is I got the text in front of me who says, anybody think it's a problem that superpowers are effort? Everyone will give effort in the playoffs. The Pistons' superpower to me is not effort. It's defense. And maybe that's semantics, because I think to play good defense, you must play with effort. But to say the Pistons are only winning defensively because they try hard, they have good defensive players. Asar Thompson is a premier perimeter defender. Beef Stew is one of the best rim protectors in the league. Their superpower is they're going to try to hold you to your lowest shooting percentage of the season on a given night.
Right.
That's not just, hey, we're going to hustle. I think they have to do those things, but their defense is legitimately a pillar for them in the postseason. That's not something that should go away because everyone else is trying. They legitimately have good defenders, great defenders.
Yes. And it's just a matter of how consistent and how effective will they be when it gets to the postseason. The game slows down. Like, how much does that affect what they're doing versus what they can do on the offensive side?
I mean, Tobias has a bad playoff history, and they need him to step up. Why would I believe that's suddenly going to change?
I mean, they're going to have to win games in the low hundreds, like 101. I'm not going to say 90s. I mean, this is...
There'll be some of that. There were a couple of those Knicks games last year were like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. 248-539-9797. Concern level with the Pistons. Pistons fall to the Cavaliers. Detroit not leading for a single minute in the second half. And again, Cleveland did not have Donovan Mitchell. They talked a lot of talk about how the Pistons aren't on their level, not in their class. Eyebrow raising, concern level. It's 97-1.
Hey, if you're thinking about a new truck this month, a Ram truck should be at the very top of your list. And when you put the Ram side by side with the competition, it's really not even close, and I'll outline some of those in just a moment. The Ram truck deals at your Metro Detroit Ram dealer this month are exceptional. For power, there's really no competition. For the Ram side of things, you can choose from award-winning Pentastar V6 or Ram's legendary 5.7 Hemi V8. And from the competition, why would you trust any full-size pickup at any price with a 4-cylinder engine? It's not going to get the job done. It's useless. And the full-size Ram 1500 is built right here in Sterling Heights. For comfort and easy-to-use technology, nothing beats a Ram. Ram also has a 5-link coil suspension. All it's going to take is one test drive, and you'll feel how much smoother a Ram is. Right now, lease payments on a new Ram truck are phenomenal. So are their financing offers for well-qualified buyers. Pull into your Ram dealer today. It's just that easy, and tell them I sent you.
Kevin McGonigle going yard, first pitch in the leadoff spot in the Dominican. He also went 3 for 3 with a walk.
Yeah, top of first pitch, as you just heard right there. 110.4 mile per hour exit velocity. I can't say all those words. They're big words.
Too big.
Distance, 461 feet. Launch angle, for all you nerds out there, 30 degrees. And then top of second, he, again, single. And he scores McKinstry. Like, he is doing all the things. And we were talking about it earlier. Like, I don't expect them to come out this morning and say, McGonigle's made the team. Like, they're not going to make that announcement. But I've got to assume, with the way that he's performing, that he's going to make the opening day roster. And I'm ecstatic about it.
Kid can rake.
And the fact that he's showing off a glove, I don't expect him to be perfect. I don't expect a gold glove this year, but he is certainly a positive. And if they were to come out and say, because it was, he's got to make the team better and developmentally, like, I want to know if he's not up, he makes the team better, checks that box. Mm-hmm. If the and developmentally he's not taking the steps, like, okay, I don't have all of the analytics that AJ and Scott have, but explain to me what those are.
No, I think it's going to come down to if they wait 2 weeks because they want an extra year of control, or if they just want to break camp with the best team. Because he's going to be a part of the best possible team this team could begin the year with.
That would be, to me, I understand the business side of it, but with the possibility that some of that restrictions may go away after a new CBA, or you don't even have a full season next year.
Okay, without getting too far into that debate, because I know we'll have it closer to the start of the season. As the more the player looks good, the more you're like, boy, I'd like to keep an extra year of control. At the same time, though, I don't like playing games, and they have incentivized teams. If he's here, you can earn a draft pick. If he goes out and wins Rookie of the Year from the jump, they'll earn a comp pick, which ironically, McGonigle himself was a comp pick. Yeah, so like there's value to those picks, and there's just value to saying, hey, we want to start the season with our best roster. Not that we think we'll need every single game to win this division, but John,
I'd sure like to start off hot.
And how about fighting for one of those top 2 spots, seeding and buys and things like that for the postseason? Every single game's going to matter, and John, they don't have a shortstop. He's the shortstop. Whether it's the first game or middle of April, he's their shortstop. And boy, does he look good.
Yeah. And when was Javi at his best last year? When was he Javier?
Center fielder.
And so if it makes him better, more productive, I don't want to say better. Like, I don't know what that really means for Javi, Javier, whatever he's going to be this year. But if it's a positive for Javi and it's a positive for the team, again, I'll go back to, if it's the and that doesn't keep him here, what are those developmental steps that we're not seeing? Because it looks like he's knocking the cover off the ball.
Yeah. Got some text coming in on the Pistons. Opened the show talking about them. Fell to the Cavaliers last night. Did not lead for a second of the second half. Trailed the whole way. And they didn't have Donovan Mitchell. Concern level? Let's get to Matt and Grand Blanc. Matt, you're on 97.1.
Hey, good morning, guys. Great show.
Thanks.
John, happy walleye season, buddy.
Here we go.
Hey, I watched the game last night. My take is that they kind of shot themselves in the foot. I thought they played good defense, but every time they would get a turnover, they would make either an errant pass, like the one that Robinson had where he threw the ball out and then Cade got fouled because he tried to defend, or the one where Cade went down low and then threw a rocket 2 feet away and it went right through the guy's hands. I mean, they just made really bad passes, and Duran missed a bunch of puppies that could have been 3-point plays. You know, at 6'11", he's not making layups when he's getting fouled. The free throw shooting was not good. I thought overall their performance, as far as a cleanliness concern, was about a C-.
Yeah.
I think if they clean things up, they hang with them and probably win that game.
There was like a discombobulated. almost, right? Like Duran would catch the pass late from Cade, drop it, and go out of bounds. It's like, man, they got the look, right? Or Cade would get to the rim and couldn't finish, and you're going, these are normally shots these guys make. I wanted to give Cleveland some credit. Like, they have a really good rim protector. And if the Pistons can't finish at the rim, we know they're not a good shooting team. It's why teams like Cleveland or San Antonio could be bad matchups because they can defend the rim. But at the same time, if the Pistons could hold on to the basketball, play cleaner.
Yeah, but that's what it is. You've got to play a clean game to beat a team like Cleveland.
And at the same time, I don't want to say the Pistons played poorly defensively, but I don't think they played up to their standard defensively until late in the game. And that's coincidentally when they made their run. Because they can overcome a turnover, a missed three, a flubbed pass, some discombobulation offensively if they're playing elite defense. And if they're not, then they're not going to win.
That's the comparison that we are making to the standard that they've set, not to what the rest of the NBA is playing in defense. Because if you just compare it to the rest of the NBA, yeah, they played good defense last night.
Tex says, guys, when Tom says pinched off, I can't help but think of a turd. Let's get to Heather with the news.
Awesome.
Got to be honest with you. I was thinking the same thing. I
was too.
Glad somebody else said it.
Oh, boy. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Heather.
Well, this is pretty cool. Detroit has been named one of the most underrated cities to visit in the Midwest by Travel and Leisure magazine. So in the article, which is titled, I Live in the Midwest, this is the most underrated city everyone should visit once. A journalist highlights the city from its world-class art to its vibrant culinary scene to its riverfront views, historic venues. The list goes on and on and on. The article also details kind of what you should do, kind of plans your visit when you are visiting Detroit. And it's funny, like I look at this list, I'm like, oh gosh, I live here and I haven't done some of these things. So they highlight the best hotels, right? I'm not staying downtown a lot, but like I've been to them, not to stay, but like the Shinola Hotel, the Siren Hotel, the things to do, the Motown Museum, I've never been.
Oh, no? That's pretty cool.
DIA is on there. I've been there. Eastern Market. I've been there.
Yes.
Michigan Central Station. I've not been
but
yet.
It's new.
Yes. So things I need to go to as well. Nightlife is highlighted. Cliff Bell's. I've been there. Motor City Wine Bar. Father Forgive Me. Ladder 4 Wine Bar.
Father Forgive Me, I think, is newer.
Okay.
Cliff Bell's. I haven't been. I've wanted to.
I've been there.
It's worth it.
It was a while ago, and it was...
It's a jazz club, right?
Yeah. It's like a speakeasy, kind of.
Yeah. I think when they talk about the culinary offerings in the city of Detroit, that is probably, to me, the most underrated thing, that Detroit has really good food. There's a number of restaurants that I got to check off those boxes.
A ton. There's so much to do, and I need to go do those things while I'm here. Yes. Yeah. I don't plan on leaving.
While you're here,
I hope I'm going to be here for a while.
Tomorrow's not promised, John.
It's not. You never know. This next story is kind of a story of karma. Police were able to use license plate reader technology to catch a Clarkston man responsible for damaging license plate reader cameras throughout the community.
Gotcha.
Yeah, gotcha. Last Monday, the Waterford Police Department realized that some of their automatic license plate readers were not working properly. So obviously they went out to go inspect them, and they saw that the readers had been forcibly broken, smashed into pieces. And thankfully, the department was able to use that technology to find the suspect. One of the cameras had captured an image of the vehicle and the license plate. So the guy was busted. They also found evidence that he had used a blunt object to hit two cameras until they broke off the mounts. Guy's 24 years old. Spencer Anderson was arrested, charged with 3 counts of malicious destruction of police property, which is a 4-year felony. So could go into jail for a little while, for sure. Just days after that baby was found in the car, I know I've been talking about the story a lot, impounded in East Point, the man who allegedly left him there went before a judge. Orlander Linson was charged with second-degree child abuse and child abuse, leaving a child in a vehicle resulting in physical harm. He pleaded not guilty. His attorney says, quote, he realizes this is just a bad decision and made in a split second. She asked for a personal bond so that he could get back to his family quickly. The judge gave him a $100,000 bond. So a plastic surgeon is weighing in on the whole Jim Carrey clone conspiracy and speculates that his new look is not the result of him being cloned or an imposter taking his place. It's the result of a major surgical transformation. Dr. Rachel Mason says that the most obvious indicator is the elevation of his brows. Most likely, she says he's had a lot of work done, but most likely had a brow lift is one of the things. And she says that procedure permanently raises the brow position, smooths the forehead, alters facial expressions, right, to create a calmer, more open look. Also believes that he underwent this upper blepharoplasty. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
I'm sure you crushed it.
I don't know. Which is like basically when you have like a hooded eyelid, you can get that raised and you can get like the fat removed and extra skin removed, which opens your eyes a little bit more, because that was one thing we really noticed about Jim Carrey's eyes, right? But also says that he most likely had a fat transfer and facelift and laser resurfacing, and it probably cost him on upwards of $60,000.
That's a lot of work. It's that or it's the lizard people cloned him. One will never know. It's Heather with the news. We are going to talk conspiracy theories at the end of the hour. I'm sure that'll get fun. Coming up next, we have the Wednesday touchdown. A bunch of headlines in the NFL, including Ben Johnson having his center retire. Oops. You hate to see it. 97.1. Franchise tag, transition tag, a surprise center retirement in the NFC North. We've been there. Let's get to it. It's the Wednesday touchdown.
Okay, guys. Kyler Murray will be released by the Cardinals. Why didn't it work in Arizona? Was it more him or the team? And tell me where he's going to play next.
Well, I'm glad you put in it's more him or the team, because it's never just one thing. They suffered some injuries. He suffered an injury. But I still go back to your quarterback has to be the leader of the team. And that goes to body language. It goes to performance. It goes to everything you're doing off the field. If they have to put in your contract a clause to watch film, that to me is a huge red flag. We talked about it at the time. I thought that was an issue. His body language, even when he was here in Detroit, they started off that season amazing. And then all of a sudden he's on the sidelines sulking. To me, that was a signal to the team. They gave him weapons. He couldn't utilize them. It's more on Kyler Murray, what has gone on in Arizona, than it is the team or the franchise. Now, don't get me wrong. The franchise is close to a dumpster fire.
Yeah, can I put Call of Duty as a right-in answer as the biggest? But let's not leave Arizona blameless in this. And I actually think you could say it's more Arizona, because he had two different head coaches. Neither were any good. He's 2 touchdowns for every interception. That's a decent ratio. And his last full season healthy, he was 12th in passer rating. You can win with this guy. The fact that they didn't, I think it's a bigger indictment on Arizona.
They gave him a lot of weapons. I know James Conner got hurt last year, but they still had a lot of weapons.
Where's he going to be? We need that answer.
Oh, Jets. I think that's the number one team that most people think he's going to.
Did you see the quirk? Because he can sign for the minimum, he's going to get paid by Arizona, that anybody could add him. How about Minnesota?
I think there's a lot of good teams. I think the Jets may be that team that just desperately needs them enough.
Well, the Bears got some bad news yesterday, and they're going to have to adjust after the surprising retirement of 27-year-old center Drew Dalman. How much trouble are the Bears in?
Big trouble. They were already a team set to take a step back. Their defense wasn't good. They had unbelievable turnover fortune. And now the strength of the team that they addressed last offseason, the interior O-line, has a huge hole to fill. And we know what that's like in Detroit. They are a team that's going to take a step back next season. First place schedule, too. Yeah, I think they're probably the biggest regression team in the NFL.
They may be the biggest regression team, but I'm going to pause and hit the brakes a little, tap the brakes on losing Drew Dalman, because what we saw with the Lions certainly could happen to the Bears. But the Lions basically lost all 3 interior guys. And the Bears still have Joe Thuney at left guard. They still have Jonah Jackson at right guard. They've got 2 veteran presences. Now, I'm not a big fan of Jonah Jackson, but I'm a huge fan of Joe Thuney.
Right, but Dalman's not an all-pro, but a Pro Bowler.
A Pro Bowler, yes. But they also, because of the timing of it, they have a chance to address it in free agency. They have a chance to address it in the draft. They only take a $4 million cap hit. They save $10 million, so they can go out and be major players. This is a bigger issue for Detroit, because now they may be players in pick your center that might hit free agency. They might outbid the Lions.
Well, that's right. And with the Bozeman retirement in LA too, with the Chargers, these centers that are free agents, man, what timing they're having to get paid big time. All right, David Montgomery was traded, which upset a lot of fans because he was a fan favorite. Which Detroit sports breakup hurt you the most?
For me, it's Verlander. And I'm happy he's back, but it's not. We kind of all knew it was coming at the time, but it was losing Verlander. He was going to be pitching somewhere else, and it was what it signified for the Tigers. It was going to take some time. It wasn't going to be a quick rebuild, and we all lived it.
See, but my answer is different, because I was an adult for the Verlander thing, and I knew, hey, this is the direction they're going for a rebuild. Same with Stafford. Hey, this is a necessary thing. I got to go back to my childhood. That's when it really hurts.
Yeah.
Fedorov. That team was not going into a rebuild. That team could have won a couple more Stanley Cups in the middle 2000s with him. It's him or it's Ben Wallace. Same thing. I mean, heart and soul of the team. He leaves to go to Chicago, the Windy City, a rivalry. And again, those are when I'm younger. Those are the ones that stuck out.
If I'm going back to when I was younger, it's Kurt Gibson leaving. That was my hero growing up.
Yeah, and I didn't understand that one either, John. But as you got older, you realized they were colluding against the players. He had every damn right to leave.
Yep.
All right, the Colts gave Daniel Jones the transition tag of $37.8 million. Where will he play in 2026?
I think it'll be the Colts. Now, they did leave the door open for someone else to swoop in and get him, but I don't know that the market's going to explode for a guy coming off the injury, and I think the Colts will match and keep him.
I think it's the Colts as well, and I don't know that any other team is really going to jump in because of the Achilles injury. It happened in December. I know that he has projected, or they projected that he's going to be back by the start of the season. I think that's a long shot. And if he's not going to be the starting quarterback at the beginning of the year, why would another team pony up that much money this year? It's only a 1-year deal. So next year might be a different deal.
You're going to outrace them to $40 million? I don't think so.
The Bengals did not put the franchise tag on Trey Hendrickson. TJ Lang has been saying for weeks now that the Bengals are a mess. Where did they go wrong?
Well, outside of Trey Hendrickson, they went wrong first by not protecting their quarterback. And that's been the major issue since Joe Burrow's been in the league. And second, by not trading Trey Hendrickson before last year's draft when they could have actually gotten a huge haul. Let's not forget, at the trade deadline, he was hurt and didn't really play much. In fact, I don't know if he played at all or it wasn't an impact the rest of the season. Teams knew it. They weren't ready to pony up. They should have traded him before last year's draft.
Think about it. He's a back-to-back sack leader in the NFL, and he's going to leave for nothing. Yeah, they should have traded him in the offseason last year or at the deadline, said this is our last chance to get something for him.
Yeah.
Bengals ownership acts like it's still 1990 and there's not even free agency in the NFL.
That's wild.
They're just losers and cheap.
And TJ's right, by the way. I saw him bombing them yesterday on Twitter.
Some mock drafts have Jeremiah Love going in the top 5. Is he worth that pick, and who is the best fit?
Okay, so the league has zigzagged. As teams play too high safety, as offenses run more tight ends, the run game's had a resurgence. So you could make the case to take him in that top 5 or top 10. The problem is, I think you got to have an offensive line for it to make sense. I don't think anybody in the top 5 is ready to plug a running back in. The team I think that should take him, Commanders at 7.
That could be a good fit. I think he actually makes it to Kansas City. I don't want to see him go to Kansas City because I think it makes them, it just launches them into another stratosphere coming into next year. But Kansas City's in a weird place because you mentioned the offensive line. They drafted an offensive lineman in the first round last year. I think they may do it again. So if he gets past Kansas City, I don't know where he ends up going, but I think the perfect fit would be KC.
But like in the top 5, like look at the teams in the top 5.
I don't think
Titans,
there's a team in the
Cardinals. Like I don't think they should use a pick on a running back when they have so many other needs. Washington would make sense. Kansas City, I don't know if they should because they still have to get their O-line right.
Well, the thing with Washington too is that whoever's picking 6, I don't know off the top of my head, but somebody that wants Love might be wanting to hop up and get that pick because Washington seems like a great fit with Jaden Daniels. Finally, the biggest name that could be moved this offseason. Will Max Crosby be traded, and if so, where?
I know there's a lot of smoke. He's talked a lot about it. The Raiders need to hit the rebuild button to get a couple of first-round picks back. I don't think he goes anywhere. I think he's still an Oakland Raider.
Or a Vegas Raider, even.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I said San Diego earlier, so it's okay.
We all do it. I think they do need to hit the reset and the rebuild, and it makes sense to trade him. Now, the reports are they want a Micah Parsons-level haul.
Yeah.
Do you know who was in on Micah Parsons but couldn't close the deal? The Eagles. I could see Howie Roseman, one of the most aggressive GMs in football, swinging a deal for Max Crosby.
I did see the betting favorite was Chicago.
Of course.
Yeah, it's even moved more since it came out yesterday afternoon. It moved again last night. They're minus 135 to get Crosby.
What do they know? What does the market know?
They know something.
All right. As your Wednesday touchdown, it's 97.1.
Hey, lately it feels like the banking world is constantly shifting. There's so many changes, mergers, name changes, and digital-only apps that don't know your face or your neighborhood. But in Michigan, one thing isn't changing. The commitment First Merchants Bank has to our local communities. I've been banking with First Merchants for a number of years now, and it's about more than just where I keep my money. It's about the impact I see them making every single day. I'm talking about real boots-on-the-ground work with local nonprofits that keep our cities vibrant and down payment grants that help our neighbors finally unlock the door to their first home. First Merchants provides high-level service delivered by local people who live, work, and shop right here in Michigan. They're not just passionate about banking, they're passionate about helping our state prosper. Why settle for a bank that just sees a zip code? Bank with an award-winning team that truly cares about your community. Visit firstmerchants.com to find a branch near you. First Merchants Bank, helping you prosper. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Pistons comeback falls short. didn't lock in and play their elite defense until late in that basketball game. And look, if they're going to blitz Cade and get the ball out of his hands and he's only going to score 10 points, and you're not going to score at the rim at a high percent. Again, these are the things that concern you. Not willing to say Cleveland's right and we're not on their level or not in their class or whatever, but it was an eyebrow raiser to see Cleveland without Donovan Mitchell lead the entire second half. Mm-hmm. So, Piston concern, we started the show with it. We won't turn you away if you want to call and talk hoops. 248-539-9797. Everybody's buzzing about McGonigle. Loved seeing him go yard first pitch last night in the Dominican, a night where he was 3 for 3 with a walk. It's becoming cartoonish, the idea that he wouldn't be here to start the season.
Yeah.
In Heather's news, we had the Jim Carrey story about people conspiracy theory. Is he cloned? Is this even Jim Carrey? Is he even alive? And I think we're going to have some fun here. What are some conspiracy theories you actually believe? 248-539-9797. This could get weird.
Oh, yeah.
And as big or small as you want to go here, we can go JFK, but let us know. 248-539-9797.
So I know probably everybody's going to be looking at Tom or I for conspiracy theories. Heather instantly looked at me.
Tom's like, wait, why me?
Yeah.
It could be sports too.
The one that and so conspiracy theories, I don't necessarily know that I'm a believer in conspiracy theories, but I do like to ask questions about what everybody believes is mainstream and whether it's modern day events or it's past events. And I think the one that I have the most questions about, not necessarily that I believe, is in 1969, we landed on the moon.
No, John.
Oh, no.
And I believe that we landed on the moon.
Okay, good start.
But how come we haven't since? All of these leaps in technology, we have supercomputers in our hands. And I don't believe the whole flag thing. Like the flag is straight as a board because it's propped up over the top of it and obviously by the mast of the flag. But when you look at the lunar lander, it's like wrapped in tin foil. And I put my tinfoil hat on. Why haven't we been back? Our technology is light years better than what it was. We're sending rockets up and bringing them back down, reusing them, sending them back up, bringing them back down. Like, why haven't we been back to the moon? And maybe, I guess the question is, why would you go to the moon?
Well, I say, is it been there, done that? We planted our flag, we've been there.
But is it there?
Or were we ever there to begin? Or
you tell me, man.
Hold on. I want to just clarify. I went with, have we ever been to the moon? You went, does the moon exist?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. The flag. You said we planted the flag, and I said, is it really there?
Is the moon real or is it made of cheese?
No, the moon is there.
Well, maybe there's just no reason to go back, John.
That could be the answer.
You ever taken a vacation one place and then been like, all right, been there, I've seen it.
I don't know. I go to
back.
a place I like it. I like to go back.
Okay.
Did we do it? It was a distraction from Nam.
Well, I'm not going that far.
We felt the pressure of the Cold War, and damn it, Russia, we got there first.
Yeah.
I've got a sports one. You know, Stoney always gets on the 1985 NBA lottery.
The envelope.
Well, there was one that was 20 years later, and it's the NHL lottery.
I'm not familiar with this
So
one.
the NHL lockout in 2005, and it ended, they did this, quote, weighted draft with all teams, like with an opportunity to get Sidney Crosby. And I'm convinced that that thing was rigged for the Penguins because the team was struggling financially. Mm-hmm. They were in big trouble. Mario Lemieux had taken over ownership and had been a franchise that had been, kind of beloved a little bit in the league.
Oh, yeah. The 90s and late 80s, they were awesome.
And the previous two drafts, they had gotten Marc-Andre Fleury and Malkin. And Crosby basically was going to guarantee them cups. And it would bring back the health of the Penguins. So, yeah, the 2005 NHL lottery was rigged.
Okay, so not the frozen envelope one, because we'll get some of those texts. The David Stern, we got to get Patrick Ewing to the big market, the Big Apple. How about another sports one? I'll start there, and then I've got some non-sports ones, too.
Oh, okay.
Was Michael Jordan suspended for gambling? Is that why he retired? Because it gets glossed over in that Last Dance doc.
Oh, yeah.
Conveniently, because it's, of course, with his approval. I would have liked to dig in a little deeper and ask a few more questions there.
I would like to know more about that as well.
Prime of his career, walks away
to go to baseball?
To play minor league baseball.
Yeah.
Because his dad liked baseball.
Right.
And his dad died.
Yeah. But why did his dad die?
Why did he gambling debts?
Yeah, was he just, hey, he's the GOAT. We're not going to make him quote unquote serve
a suspension.
A public suspension.
Here's the workaround.
But then he comes back.
It's a conspiracy that I have wondered about, put it that way. I actually sent a list to you guys from Popular Mechanic. They list like 20 or 30 conspiracy theories. One of them on there is that Disney came up with the movie Frozen to change the SEO, search engine optimization, because people think Walt Disney's head is frozen cryogenically. So they launched an entire movie to distract from that so people would stop Googling and finding that Walt Disney's head may be frozen. I've seen that one.
Oh, so is Walt Disney frozen? Now all of a sudden the movie pops up versus...
So now you see Elsa and Olaf and...
Yeah, let it go.
Let it go. Move on. Nothing to see here. Let it go. Walt's head's not frozen. How dare you? Let it go. It's in the song. That one is interesting to me. And on the same vein, have you noticed at like gas stations a couple years ago, Dubai chocolate popped up out of nowhere? Had you ever heard of Dubai chocolate like 4 or 5 years ago? It's that pistachio chocolate.
Oh, no, I think there was a news story, and I'm like, what is Dubai chocolate?
Right. So, but it's a newer phenomenon, and people speculate it's because Dubai chocolate is a certain act that people would do in Dubai that they don't want you to Google and search. So now you get Dubai chocolate. It's a wonderful candy you can pick up at the gas station or your 7-Eleven.
Oh, it's an act. I don't know what that is.
You can put it in Urban Dictionary.
Oh, okay.
Let Heather do it.
I'll do it.
248-539-9797. Conspiracy theories. Jim Carrey, was he cloned? Everybody's all fixated on this. Yeah. What are some conspiracy theories that you wonder about or truly believe? It involves pooping, John.
Well, okay, I'm going to let Heather describe it to me while we hear the great update.
During the commercial break.
Yes.
It's 97.1.
Brought to you by Mike Morse Law Firm. The Pistons fell on the road last night, 113-109 to the Cavs. Cade Cunningham had just 10 points on 4 of 16 shooting with 14 assists and 5 turnovers, but J.B. Bickerstaff was surprised he didn't take more free throws.
I mean, I just cringed when I saw a picture of the actual Dubai chocolate. Like, it looks disgusting. And then I read what it meant, and it's even worse. Like, this looks gross. It's got, like, what is that, pistachio?
Yes, pistachio and chocolate.
Pistons head to San Antonio for a rematch with the Spurs tomorrow. The Tigers also had an exhibition game last night. They lost 12-4 to the Dominican Republic national team. But top prospect Kevin McGonigle had a big night, and it started on the first pitch of the game. Call courtesy of MLB Network. McGonigle went on to go 3 for 3 with 2 runs scored. Before the game, Tigers owner Chris Ilitch spoke with some select reporters and was asked about adding to the team despite some big signings already. He said, quote, based on the team that we have, I leave it to Scott to decide if he wants to add. And if he does, that's really not an issue. It's all about the timing and what's right for our organization and our pursuit of a championship, unquote. The Tigers have another exhibition game today against Panama. At the Corwell Health Sports Desk, I'm Brendan Shabbat. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket or Odyssey.com.
This Jim Carrey thing has taken over the internet. People are going, that's not him. His eye color's different. He's signing with the wrong hand. He's had some work done. Is it even him? And we're having some fun. What are some conspiracy theories you believe, or at least question? 248-539-9797. And some are sports, right? Frozen envelope. Gov brought up Crosby to the Penguins. Brought up Jordan going to baseball instead of being suspended for gambling, potentially. But they can go to the moon, where John brought us, or Dubai chocolate, which I brought up. Heather, you didn't even feel comfortable reading it out loud.
No, I'm not going to read that one out loud. I just let John read it off my phone.
Yeah. And there was a little vomit involved.
Yeah.
It was, it's disgusting.
So the conspiracy there is Dubai chocolate popped up seemingly out of nowhere. It's this pistachio chocolate thing you'll see at like gas stations. I had never heard of Dubai chocolate until a couple years ago. And it might be because now when you Google it, you get that instead of pooping in people's mouths.
Well, technically, when I Googled it, the first thing that came up was the actual chocolate.
Yeah, that's because now you're going to get that instead of why someone might. Anyway, 248-539-9797. Okay. Do you buy any?
Not really. I'm not really a big conspiracy theory girl. Like, you sent this article and I haven't heard of pretty much all of, like, I don't even know of them. Obviously, number 8, the world is flat. I've heard that conspiracy before.
Sure, yeah.
Bigfoot exists, sure. But a lot of these I've never even heard of.
Prove he doesn't.
Well, so just the list. 1 is the moon landing was fake.
Right.
2 is the government killed JFK. That's like the mother of all conspiracies. Grassy knoll, botched autopsy, what actually happened.
Sure.
Warren Commission, all of it. You got COVID. We can go down that rabbit hole. The Frozen, Disney.
I never heard that one before. That's...
Yeah, which he wasn't. But there are some famous people who have been cryogenically frozen.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And it's been confirmed. Ted Williams was cryogenically frozen.
What's the thought process? Like, we can bring you back someday?
Yeah. That whatever the cure is for whatever disease these, famous people or very wealthy individuals have died from, that there'll be a cure and that they'll be able to come back. Because cryogenically, it's supposed to not break the cell membrane so that it can be reconstituted.
So on the Earth flat thing, I just want to, where's the cliff?
Yeah, how do I get to the edge? Where is it?
We can't get to the edge?
It's Antarctica, but there's an ice wall.
Oh, that's where it drops off?
I don't know where it drops off. That's what I want to know. I don't know. Why can't we get there?
I had never heard of this one. Prince Charles is a vampire?
Yeah, I'd never heard of that either.
I haven't heard that
Number
one.
Number 9?
Yeah.
Let's get to the phones. Let's hear from some people. 248-539-9797. Let's get to Dave in Clinton Township. Dave, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
What's up?
Yeah, your question earlier, why we haven't been back to the moon. Well, we cut funds to NASA back in the 50s, and we lost the infrastructure of building the components to get us to the moon. And that's the main reason why we haven't been to the moon since then, since the 50s.
Well, they went in the 60s, so why would it have been cut in the 50s, but we still got there in the 60s?
Well, I meant the 60s then.
Oh, okay.
I'm a lot younger, so since my generation, we haven't been to the moon, so.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of people echoing that, Dave. And this one says moon landing 100% fake. Who was there taking the video? Tommy and Troy. We never landed on the moon, Tony. Everybody knows the moon is just the backside of the sun, from an unnamed text.
The backside of the sun. Like, I believe the moon is real.
Okay. NFL scriptwriters, they exist. Signed Johnny. The NBA lottery is rigged. Wemby should be a Piston. Dale Earnhardt Jr. winning the Daytona 6 months after his dad died.
Oh, they let him win?
Yeah. Conspiracy theories I fully believe. Baby wipe companies purposely make it impossible to pull one wipe at a time, so you're forced to pull more.
Man, they really do. You know what we do? We put a ponytail holder around it so that it's tighter, so that when you do pull, you only get one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, when I pull the baby wipes out, I want more than one.
Depending on
my hands
the
are
situation.
bigger. I just need more coverage.
Well, I'm talking about actually wiping a baby's butt.
Yeah, me too. I want more than one wipe.
Okay, John. What a waste if it's just a pee.
Yeah, John.
That's just the one. Any poop on my hands.
The other conspiracy says hot dog packages and hot
Still
dog
happens.
Hot dog packages and hot dog buns never have the same number. You're forced to buy one more of one than the other.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah, because there's only 6 buns
and 8 dogs?
And 8 dogs, yeah. That's why you just double up the dog.
You can buy 8 and 8.
Can you?
Yeah, I've done it. Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't bought buns in a while.
We just debunked that one, apparently.
I remember that as an Animaniacs joke.
248-539-9797. Back to the phones. Let's go to Josh in Grand Rapids. Josh, good to hear from you.
Hey, good morning, guys. How we doing?
Good.
Good. All right, so we got the World Trade Center. President Bush. It was a fight over oil and a reason to go to Iraq. And we never did go to the moon. The previous guy said we lost funding in the 60s, but we went to the moon 5 times, supposedly, up until 72. And then they accidentally destroyed the stuff that we needed, all the intel and all that. We've never been to the moon.
Okay, so you 100% believe it?
Oh, 100%. Because there's videos of Buzz Aldrin admitting that we never went, and then they claim that he had just lost his mind and he didn't know what he was talking about. Huh. And then where's Neil Armstrong been after his first supposed moon landing? The guy disappeared. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well.
And then the Earth's flat. Talk about that.
Oh boy, you're hitting all of them
whoa,
here.
Whoa. You don't really believe the Earth is flat, right?
I believe. I've watched videos on both. I believe more that it's flat than a round ball floating through space at 5 different crazy speeds.
Oh, okay. So where is the edge of the Earth?
It's the Antarctica wall. There is no edge. We're just on a flat basin.
Josh,
when they talk about going to Mars, we're just going to an island on the outside of Antarctica.
Josh, can I ask
interesting.
What I think is a good follow-up? Are there any conspiracies you don't believe?
I mean,
because you're hitting all of them here. Bush did 9/11. We've never been to the moon. The Earth's flat.
I've rabbit holed, man. It's you can't just believe what they've been telling us from the beginning.
Josh, I agree. You don't just believe. You have to make your own choice. But I want to get back to the Earth is flat because, okay, I understand and the questions about the moon landing, but do you believe that we have satellites in space that can take pictures?
So in the videos I've seen, the astronauts from NASA or the scientists from NASA have said that we have never been past the second radiation belt. He said that there is no human being that would be able to make it past the Orion radiation belt. So tell me how in 1969 our tinfoil flew to the moon, but in 2026...
Oh, no, I'm not arguing that. I'm just arguing, do we have satellites in space that can take pictures of the Earth, and those pictures or even videos show that the Earth is round?
So there is actually no real photos of Earth. They're all CGIs.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Like they have said that at NASA. There's videos of them, numerous people saying that there is no actual real photo of Earth.
Because we've never actually been to space.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all CGI. It's all computer generated images.
Josh,
if you look it up on Google, look up pictures of Earth from 75 to 2025, you'll see a handful of different pictures of what they proclaim it to be.
Don't interrupt the man.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Josh,
we'll add his name
you.
to the show. I can't be mad. We asked for this.
Yeah, I don't interrupt him. Let him go. I want to hear what the reasoning is.
My favorite part about conspiracy theorists is that when they get to the point when they say, you can't just believe everything you've seen or read. Trust me, I've seen videos on Google.
I watched a YouTube video, and it proved everything. Like, I've watched Ancient Aliens. I don't think they built the pyramids.
Yeah, but what's underneath them?
One of the great mysteries.
Yes.
248-539-9797. Guys, I believe Shohei did bet his own money, and MLB used their power to make the translator the fall guy. That's Ethan in Clinton Township. Let's get to the phones. We've got Gene in Belleville. Gene, you're on 97.1.
Yeah, I believe that there are aliens living among us.
Okay.
you ever see Men in Black? They said Al Roker was an alien. I think people alien.
What was weird about her?
Ex-girlfriend.
What made you think she was an alien?
Because she like catch up on rice and stuff, and
Heather,
weird stuff.
Is there one among us right here?
Heather likes ketchup.
Heather might be an alien.
She's the one downplaying a lot of the conspiracies in general. I don't believe in any conspiracy theories. Nothing to see here.
I can definitely go down rabbit holes, though, like that guy said. Like, I'm interested in reading what people think. And, it is easy to just start looking at everything.
Yeah.
I do enjoy doing that. Do I believe it? Not usually.
Have you seen... Well, we'll get to it next. Here's one I'm sure you've seen, and Nicole wants to weigh in on it too. Conspiracies. Curious. Jim Carrey, is it even him, has led us into this rabbit hole. Conspiracy theories you believe. We're going to get back into some sports. Lions free agency buzz later in the hour. Pistons, how concerning was last night? And McGonigle, man, going yard. It's 97.1.
Hey, you know what's not a conspiracy is I believe we all really want a beautiful lawn this summer, and we want one that's easy to maintain. We don't want to have to fight weeds. We don't want to have to fight crabgrass. Want it to be nice and full and thick. You got to get to Natural Way Lawn and Tree Service. Get green, stay green with Natural Way. They're the company that I've trusted for a number of years now, and I don't have to fight weeds. I don't have to watch my grass thin every summer. They do a great job of customizing plans for my house. They'll do it for your house, your yard. They also provide pest services. Great lawns don't happen by accident. You need the right timing and the right program. For greener grass and fewer weeds, early treatment is the key. And I know it's cold outside right now, but hey, summer's going to come around. Spring's going to be here. You got to get in touch with them for a limited time. You can purchase a full lawn program. You're going to get free grub control. But you mentioned my name along with 97.1. The number, 888-GET-GREEN. That's 888-GET-GREEN, or on the web at naturalwaylawn.com.
Good work, guys. You brought out all the crackpots. Signed Blair. OMG, that's radio gold. That guy had a screw loose. Roy and Clarkston. Guys, did I wake up to a flat earther conversation? It's going to be a long day. And what have you done? LOL. Brought the crazies to the table.
Yeah. Hey, let's ask that question again. We're talking about Jim Carrey and the conspiracy that he was cloned. What are the conspiracy theories? Whether it's in the general population or whether it's in sports that you believe in. And we did have somebody call in that said that they believe the flat earth.
Yes, he said that there's a wall in Antarctica. That's the edge of the earth. He said we haven't been as deep into space as we claim. We've never been to the moon.
Yeah.
We've had some of the...
Well, I have some questions about that.
Whether we've
Not that I believe it or not. I have questions.
Well, mine was that the Sidney Crosby lottery was rigged. I don't know if you read this text, but this is the one that just made me die laughing behind the glass here. Jimmy Butler is Michael Jordan's son. That's all
I've seen that one.
What?
I've seen it. I don't believe it,
Jimmy
but I've
Butler?
seen it. Yeah, look at the facial, like half one face, half the other. They're very
similar,
uncanny.
Really?
Yeah, Jimmy Butler, Michael Jordan, illegitimate child.
I've never heard that one.
There are still people with the Jim Carrey thing. What's wrong with you guys? The thing was debunked 2 days ago. It was an imposter, which is the opposite conclusion. Jim Carrey's rep has said that was Jim Carrey.
Well, of course he's going to say that.
Well, that's why it begs questions. A professional mask maker played Jim Carrey for a social experiment. Makes you think how many famous people were in bad situations, haven't died but got a makeover. Noah.
Huh.
Guys, why during sunrise can you see the moon and the sun at the same time if they're one and the same? Now, this guy's asking the real question.
Oh, no, I agree. Yeah, so the one said that the moon is actually the backside of the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, when they're both in the sky
How
at the
does an
same
eclipse
time.
happen?
Yeah.
I think that was a joke.
No, I know. Greg,
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
Some more serious ones, though. The Titanic was sunk on purpose by J.P. Morgan to eliminate John Jacob Astor and other rich people who were going to start the Federal Reserve. The Titanic sunk in 1912. The Reserve started in 1913. Signed, Nate.
Huh. Okay.
And Heather, have you heard about the conspiracy theory that Avril Lavigne died in a car crash and was replaced by somebody else? Signed, Colin Knott in Clarkston.
I feel like now that I hear that, I have heard about that. There's other celebrity ones like that. Same with Britney Spears. It's not really her.
It's not her?
Oh, really? It's an alien?
It's a clone.
Oh,
it's like an imposter. It's somebody has replaced her that looks like her. And I remember hearing the Avril one, but I couldn't tell you exactly
where you heard it.
I don't believe it.
Okay.
I have never heard of this one. It's a sports one. Biggest conspiracy. Magic Johnson never had AIDS.
I've heard that one.
He had to be the spokesperson and promote it, or he would go to jail or face some other consequences. I'm not sure what it was. What? I don't know. It says he never got AIDS, had to quit basketball, sign his life over, or he would do prison time in Canton. Hasn't connected all the dots, but that's his theory.
Okay. All right. Well, if you're going to have some conspiracy theories, like you got to show your work. At least our flat Earth guy had his reasons.
Guys, of all the conspiracies you talked about, the pyramids and the alien one is probably the only one with some legitimacy to it.
So that was hot news about a year ago when there was reported to be soundings done underneath the pyramids, and there were caverns or spherical supports, and that's where the aliens are living, or it was built by the aliens.
Yeah, people point out the pyramids align with constellations in the sky. And
of course they do.
Of course. So they were here, they were among us, may still be, maybe populated the earth. Aliens. Conspiracies, I believe. Mark Ryan is AI and Costa is a swinger. Have a good day, fellas. Rich at work.
Yeah, I don't believe that Mark Ryan is AI. I've seen him. Yeah.
Oh, that's the one you want to debunk. Thanks, buddy.
How about this one? Wilt Chamberlain never scored 100 points.
I've heard that one. Yeah. Because there's no video, but we have video of like everything else.
Yeah, video of him like practicing in high school.
But not of the 100-point game.
Uh-huh. Did Wilt score 100? I brought up the Jordan. What are some other sports ones? Tom brought up Crosby, the lottery.
Well, the one that we hear every year, and somebody brought it up on text, is the NFL scriptwriters.
Scriptwriters, yep. They wanted Sam Darnold to win the Super Bowl.
Yes. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. The one that I've probably heard the most, and I have the most questions about, again, not that I believe, but I do have questions, is that gap in time where Michael Jordan was playing baseball.
Yep. Never really made sense to me. Especially with his notorious reputation with gambling.
Right. And the death of his father and how it happened.
The conspiracy is the league, rather than publicly suspend him, privately suspended him, and he went and played baseball.
Yeah, as the excuse of why he was stepping away from basketball.
Which would explain why he was busting around to minor league ballparks rather than playing in the NBA. Prime of his career.
Yeah, for the Sox minor league team.
I love that we got off on this tangent. This was fun.
It was fun.
Can I get to CJ, who's been waiting to talk Pistons? Poor guy.
Sure.
This whole time he's had to hear about all this stuff. CJ, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for taking the call.
What's up?
Enjoying the show, so don't worry about the wait. Helps me on the drive. First, before I go on to the Pistons, I'd just like to give a shout-out to the young men out at Pioneer High School, the basketball team. It was a really, really good game last night. I know a lot of people don't really watch high school basketball, but they won their regionals last night with 1.4 seconds on the clock. They won their districts last week for the first time in 10 years, so just want to give those boys a big shout-out. And as far as the Pistons, man, I called in a couple of weeks ago after the Jay and Ivy trade and wasn't happy about that, but, it is what it is. My biggest concern with them moving forward, and I do believe that, they can make a deep run in the playoffs, but they have these every game, they go on a 3 to 4.5 minute scoring drought every single game. And when we don't have a number two, a legit number two, and I know, Jalen Duren's an all-star, so we'll say a number two on the perimeter. Mm-hmm. It's just going to be tough for them in the playoffs because, I think they're the best team in the East. I think they may have some challenges with Cleveland if they meet in the playoffs, but I think they're better than, Boston and all of those guys. The biggest difference is, those guys just shoot the ball so much better. So, we're not going to go, and I'm not trying to slander Tobias Harris, but we're not going to go too far with him being our number two scorer. We need somebody legit on the outside and someone who can keep us from going on these 3 to 4.5 minute scoring droughts every game, especially now that teams are running 2 or 3 guys at Cade Cunningham. So just wanted to put that out there. That's my biggest concern. Hopefully they could.
Sorry, CJ. The blueprint is there, right? I mean, the Pistons have to play not good, but great defense because we know they don't have a true number two, and teams that can defend the rim and get the ball out of Cade's hands, that's the blueprint.
Which we saw last night.
The only counter is you have to play elite defense, and they didn't until the very end of that game where they just started playing relentless. It's non-negotiable. If they're not going to play high-end defense from the start to the finish, there will be teams that'll knock this team out.
Yeah, and we're not sitting there saying they played poor defense.
No.
They just didn't play up to the standard that the Pistons have set. The reason that they have gotten here was because they've played elite defense, and it's not something that you see in the regular season of the NBA. By all other standards, yeah, they played great defense last night.
Wrap with a few more of these conspiracies?
Oh, yeah. Let's hear what the people have.
We'll give the Pistons their due a little later in the show. We want to know about concern level from last night. It's one regular season game, but the Cavs are trying to make their point. No, Donovan Mitchell led the entire second half and said, hey, Pistons aren't in our class. We'll talk concern level later in the show. We also need to get to the report. Everybody's losing their mind. Lions free agency.
Yes.
We'll get to that, too. On conspiracy theories. Tupac is alive. He's chilling on an island. Jamel in a truck.
Oh, is he with Elvis?
Finland isn't real. Google it for the full rundown, it says.
Oh, Finland isn't real.
It's not real. It's made up. While you do that, Anthony Edwards has the same kind of story with Michael Jordan. Look at the face. Another one of his children. Birds aren't real. Look it up. It's quite the rabbit hole.
Oh.
What, the birds aren't real?
Birds aren't real.
What are they? Like, what are the things flying outside?
They're like spying on us.
Who made them?
But
the government.
So I when I went dove hunting, I only shot the only real ones.
Did you eat them? So what did you consume?
Oh, they're wonderful.
All the
I know,
microplastics.
but like I'm saying, what was it that you ate if it's not a
Processed
bird?
food.
Oh no, a dove is as yummy as it gets. I mean, they're basically one bite, but you stuff it with a jalapeno, a little cream cheese, wrap it in bacon.
Real quick, couple sports ones that just came in. The Angel Hernandez was a plant by MLB to get ASB. To get the auto or ABS.
ABS.
I was going to say, am I Ross Brown?
It's all connected, John.
Wow,
Sun
that's
God.
a huge one.
And then Chris Webber threw that game, the national championship game against North Carolina, that he tried to travel. They didn't call it, so that's why he called the timeout. Now, to that one, and look, you can question Weber's character and some of the decisions he's made in his life. His dejection, that's not acting.
No.
I've never felt more sorry for somebody on a court that had to finish a game than him when they showed him in the background and they're shooting those technicals. He cried after. That was all fake.
The Finland thing, the theory. In the Cold War around the mid-20th century, Japan and the Soviet Union supposedly shared a secret about a stretch of the Baltic Sea between the Soviet Union and Sweden. The two nations collectively spread the idea there was a landmass known as Finland on this stretch of ocean to keep the good fishing spots to themselves. The Japanese were free to fish as much as they liked without worrying about international laws, as long as they gave their fair share to Russia. That's the argument that Finland isn't real.
Well, I can support lying about a good fishing spot.
They've got you hooked. See, here's the truth, and this is the best way to end this. With all that is out there, if people say things loud enough and authoritatively enough,
sure,
you can get people to believe you.
I guess so.
Wild, man. All right, we'll get Heather's news in the mix. We'll talk a little Lions, this free agency rumor that nobody's happy about, and the Pistons, a concern level from last night. Talk sports, 97.1.
Hey, if you're thinking about a new truck this month, a Ram truck should be at the very top of your list. And when you put the Ram side by side with the competition, it's not even close. The Ram truck deals at your Metro Detroit Ram dealer this month are exceptional. And here's some of the comparisons. For power, not much of a competition. For Ram, they have the two choices, award-winning Pentastar V6 or the Ram's legendary 5.7 Hemi V8. For the competition, they've got some full-size pickups, and you can buy it at any price. But a four-cylinder engine? Come on. It's not even a legit comparison. The full-size Ram 1500 is built right here in Sterling Heights. For comfort and easy-to-use technology, nothing beats a Ram. And Ram also has a 5-link coil suspension. All it's going to take is one test drive to feel how much smoother a Ram is than the competition. Right now, lease payments on a new Ram truck are phenomenal. So are the financing offers for well-qualified buyers. Pull into your Ram dealer today. It's just that easy, and tell them I sent you.
Unofficially, 650 feet on that home run. Officially, I think 461. If it ever landed. Correct. Kevin McGonigle, first pitch goes yard.
Exit velocity of 110.4 miles per hour.
3 for 3. Drew a walk. Opening day shortstop, right?
I sure would think so. And for comparison, Juan Soto hit a home run later in the game. Mm-hmm. Also a guy that went from AA to the major leagues. His exit velocity was a mere 107.3.
Oh, hit the gym, Juan.
Yeah, only went 431 feet.
Rookie numbers. Got to pump those numbers up.
Yeah.
To your point, Baseball America put out an interesting article about people skipping AAA. It's rare.
Right.
They point out since 2010, only 15% of players making their debut had 0 time in AAA. But, I mean, the names are guys you know. Trout, Juan Soto, Ramirez, Machado, Altuve, Bregman, of course. Yes. And the hit rate's super high on these guys. Especially, they tiered it. If you're a top 10 prospect in all of baseball and you skip AAA, like you're fast-tracked, the vast majority pan out. In fact, turn into superstars. So McGonigle is on that track, man, and I know they want to prioritize development, and I know there's a service time question, but John, there's something to be said for breaking camp with your best team. McGonigle's part of this best team.
Yeah, he is, and he's had arguably the best bat in spring training, and they're all hitting the same pitching, so you can't sit there and say, well, it's just spring training pitching.
Yeah, I mean,
they're all facing it.
The guy hit the home run off's a major league pitcher.
Right. But here's the question I'll have. If he's not on the roster, is it simply manipulation of service time? It could be the answer. I would disagree with it because of possible work stoppage next year, and why not start the season as hot as you possibly can, as good as you possibly can. The other question I would have is when Scott Harris says it's got to make the team better, which I think we can all see that it does, and he can't skip any developmental spots or landmarks.
Yeah.
And so I would question, like, what are those landmarks? Because from the uneducated eye, which I'll say I have, sure does look like developmentally he's ready.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting cartoonish, the idea that he wouldn't be on. That you have to concoct a made-up reason for him not to be here. It'd be cartoonish that Kevin McGonigle wouldn't be on the opening day roster at this point.
I would also, I mean, could it possibly set him back if he goes down and faces minor league pitching again, and he's facing major league pitching now? If you're used to it, you're hitting it.
Yeah.
I would rather go with, hey, let's have him up. And if things go south, which I don't expect them to, yeah, there's going to be slumps. There's going to be ups and downs of a rookie year. Send him down and then bring him back up versus have him start down and do the same thing and then bring him up later.
They can concoct a developmental reason. The business reason would be an extra year of team control. And it'd be a very valuable year if he ends up being a superstar player. But
well, so you could just lose arbitration again?
Well, but I mean, we've one more year you'd have him before he'd hit free agency. But at the same time, like, I don't think they need him to win this division, first couple weeks of the season. But if they want to chase a 1 or a 2 seed, they want to have preferential seeding and buys in the playoffs. Every single game is going to matter for this team. And they put in a rule to incentivize guys like McGonigle to make the opening day roster. If he's here and wins Rookie of the Year, they get a comp pick. Mm-hmm. Ironically, McGonigle was a comp pick himself. So I think there's more than enough reason to do it. And just to pay off those numbers from Baseball America, players who are top 10 prospects who skip this developmental step of AAA and go right to the bigs, 2/3 of them are 10 WAR players or better for their career. I mean, the hit rate is high for players who look as special as Kevin McGonigle. Let's get to Heather with the news.
This news is brought to you by Fusion Energy. So 4 players will be celebrated as part of the Red Wings game tonight, and a beloved broadcaster will be back in the booth. So first forward Patrick Kane will be honored in a ceremony before the puck drop for becoming the all-time U.S.-born points leader. Dylan Larkin will also be celebrated for winning gold, obviously, at the Winter Olympics, along with Lucas Raymond and Mo Sider. They'll also be honored as well. And then Mickey Redmond will be making his return to the broadcast booth, which seems like it was just overnight, to be honest, very quickly after going
overnight
under.
For us, probably not for him.
No, not for him, but he had spinal surgery in January.
Hopefully he's feeling much better.
I hope so.
And it was a success.
Yeah, I mean, they showed him from Ozzy's shack during one of the games. And, I mean, everybody's going to love getting him back on the broadcast. I thought Stu Grimson did a nice job in his absence, but nobody's Mickey Redmond.
Yeah.
Right.
So we all know that Max Clark drew some social media buzz over the weekend after he was wearing those multiple, flashy diamond chains. Yeah, lots of bling during a spring training game. And then that look paired with a couple of drop fly balls in left field obviously sparked a wave of criticism online. But Clark himself isn't shying away from the conversation. He told reporters that he isn't bothered by the online commentary and that a lot of the noise isn't really about baseball performance. I mean, you can go and read, if you haven't heard what he said, read his whole statement. Basically, he said that I don't really care what anyone has to say. People don't know me, right? Nobody really knows who I am. And AJ Hinch has publicly defended Clark, saying that he brings positive energy, confidence, and that today's baseball world includes, more self-expression from players. So,
it's a lot that he said.
Yeah,
I didn't think he needed to even dignify it really with a response.
It was a long response.
It was a long response.
Very long.
He made a note in here that was interesting. So he said he gifted. As an apology, DeJesus, he screwed up his outing with the Airs.
Right.
He gifted him 2 bottles of rum because of a spring training mistake.
The best rum you can find, not just any rum.
Right.
Also, a weird line about I grew up in a 2-story house.
Well, he talked about his background. He was talking about his mom being a special ed teacher, his dad driving semis, the kind of house he grew up in. Like,
I don't think he needed to do all that.
He didn't. But he just, you don't know me, right? You don't know me. But he did. He did it. Detroit, this is cool, has been named one of the most underrated cities to visit in the Midwest by a Travel and Leisure magazine. It's a cool article. It's titled, I Live in the Midwest. This is the most underrated city everyone should visit once. And it just highlights everything Detroit has to offer, the world-class art, vibrant culinary scene, riverfront views, historic venues, cultural landmarks. And it kind of says, hey, these are some of the things you should do or visit when you go to Detroit. It highlights different hotels like the Shinola Hotel, the Siren Hotel. It highlights things to do from Eastern Market to Michigan Central Station to Motown Museum, different nightlife scenes, Cliff Bell's, Motor City Wine Bar, Spark Box. I mean, the list goes on. Different restaurants, Rose's Fine Food, Morrow, just things
I
to
agree
go.
with Rose's. Have
you been there?
Oh, yeah. It's tremendous.
Well, stuff like this is good for
fine. Yes.
It's good for the city's image, but it's also a reminder, like, we live here, and if you haven't done some of these things, take advantage of them.
Yeah.
I know.
It's Heather with the news.
Babysitters all the time, really. It's the hard part.
Take your kids down there.
I know, yeah, definitely. But like to really go and enjoy the nightlife,
Yeah.
Right, they're little kids still.
I need a babysitter.
All right, coming up next, the report about the Lions in free agency that's got everybody upset. It's 97.1.
Hey, America's favorite place to watch our best sporting events, and we got some really good ones coming up, is Stadium Swim, located at Circa Resort and Casino. Catch all the biggest games at a viewing experience built for sports fans. You can chill in one of the 6 pools on 3 different levels for a perfect view of their massive 40-foot tall high-definition screen. It's located at Circa Resort and Casino in downtown Las Vegas, and it's right there on Fremont Street. Stadium Swim. Book your spot today at circalasvegas.com.
So everybody on the show saw this. We knew we'd be talking about it this morning. And you can feel the frustration building. The latest Lions free agency buzz, I'll put it in one word, yuck. It's from Dave Burkett, trusted source, Detroit Free Press. Quote, multiple agents who met with the Lions at the Combine do not expect the team to be major players in free agency. And one who spoke with the team believes they will move Tate Ratledge to center and open up competition at the guard spots. John, you're the nicer one, but even you can't like this.
Well, okay, not a huge fan of this. And until we see what happens in free agency, this is the season of smoke and mirrors. There's nothing in the history of Brad Holmes in free agency that says he's going to make a big move. And so I tend to believe, and Dave is a very reliable, trusted source. So when Dave talks about the Lions, I tend to buy in. There was a report last night, NFL reporter Albert Breer on the Lions offseason. I wouldn't rule out a big swing by Detroit, maybe on someone such as Ravens free agent center Tyler Linderbaum. So you're going to have these conflicting reports all the way up until free agency begins, the legal tampering period, and really the first couple of days of free agency, because that's when all of the big splash, big fish signings are going to happen. After that, there's a second wave, there's a third wave, and they're all smaller things. I don't necessarily have an issue with them moving Tate Ratledge to center. If Hank Fraley signs off on, I think he can be a good center. I'm not expecting him to be Frank Ragnow. I just want him to be a dependable center. Get the CQ exchange, get the ball to the quarterback, make the right calls, and go block someone. The issue that I'll have is if it's Juice Scruggs, it's Mahogany, Miles Frazier, and who else are competing for these two guard spots? That's the question that I have in regards to moving Tate Ratledge to center, because if Tate stays at guard, at least you have a known quantity. Was he a world beater last year? No, but he was very consistent, and I do think he will continue to get better and better. He'll be a very good guard. How good is yet to be determined.
What's the key to a guard being able to play center? Because, John, a lot of the best centers in the NFL played center in college. Even Frank Ragnow, who started as a guard, was a center in college, right?
Well, I think it's been reported that Tate played a little center in college. It wasn't his main spot. He was a guard.
Do you think, what's the key to making that transition, being able to play NFL center?
It's being able to block somebody with one hand. Starting with one arm between your legs as you snap the ball to the quarterback.
You're at a disadvantage.
You're at a disadvantage, and it's pad level. But I think the bigger thing is being able to see the field, looking at both sides of the field, instead of being told what to do. You're the one that's telling everyone what to do. Everything begins and starts. All blocking schemes, all blitz pickup. Now, the quarterback can override you, but it all starts with the center identifying the mic, identifying the blitz, making all the important calls. And that is something that it takes time. That's why when we heard from Dan Campbell, when he was asked at the Combine, would you rather have a veteran or a rookie at center? And he was, as any coach would say, I would rather have a veteran at center. And 1 year in the NFL does not make you a veteran. It makes you a second-year player. And can he make that transition to not only starting every play with one arm between his legs, can he then make all of the calls that are necessary in loud environments, in every single environment, and even when it's a late move by the defense, being able to make those adjustments on the fly?
And you're talking about a gamble here. They gambled on the offensive line last year and took some chances and relied on some young players, and it was a mess. John, I don't think Ratledge played a game at center at Georgia. He may have practiced the position.
Right.
The Lions have cross-trained him some at center, but it's a big ask when many of the best centers in the NFL were college centers. To put your eggs in the basket and say Ratledge is going to play center, we're also not going to be big players for a guard, and the line's just going to be better. Trust us.
Well, we did last year, And that didn't work out.
Right. So this is terrifying to hear. And again, conflicting reports, choose your fighter. I hope Breer's right and it's a Linderbaum or it's a proven center. If Burkett, the local guy who's got the local sources, is right, I don't know how you defend it because, John, if they said we're going to re-roll a young offensive line, trust Fraley, we believed Ratledge when we drafted him could play center, then you have to spend on defense. Right? Like if they truly said, hey, we trust our process offensively, Dan Campbell said at the Combine, defense is on his mind. Well, your solution on defense is to make no significant moves in free agency. That's why that report from Burkett is terrifying.
Well, it is. And what did we say? You have to do things differently than you did last year. You have to do things differently than you have in the first 5 years because it hasn't resulted in a trip to the Super Bowl or world champs. It just hasn't. And how do you do it differently? Well, you have to operate differently in free agency. You have to operate differently at the draft. You can't take developmental guys. You have to operate differently when it comes to trades. And it's pro player acquisition. Veteran players with experience coming in, and it's not just draft, develop, and sign your own guys. Don't fall in love with your own guys. I think we've done that way too much.
Is that not what Burkett's report would insinuate? Not going to be major players, move Tate to center, a position he's never played real games at, and compete at guard. That is by definition swooning over your own. That's cataclysmic. I mean, that's the stuff that derails championship windows.
Right. And so I wouldn't say Kevin Zeitler was a big splash, but they did make that acquisition. It was only for 1 year, so it doesn't mean if they don't make a big splash with Linderbaum or any of the other big centers, there can still be guys that they add that can make this a very good offensive line. But I don't know that I trust Tate Ratledge to be at center. I'm not saying that he can't.
Right, but I have the same read you do. It feels like an unnecessary risk with some proven centers on the market. And the idea is, well, it's going to cost a lot of money. Restructure some deals. Are you trying to win a Super Bowl or not? You running a daycare and a nursery and bringing an offensive line along for the next couple seasons, or are you trying to win a Super Bowl? Because your actions are going to tell me one way or another.
Right, and yes, this was still a top 5 offense last year, but when they needed it to be, where was it?
Yeah, you want to talk smoke and mirrors. Last year, when the Lions played good defenses, tough opponents, could they convert and run the ball effectively? Could they handle blitz packages? That top 5 offense is incredibly misleading.
Well, and I don't want Jared Goff. He was under more duress this past year than he was at any point in his career. And to me, that highlights how good Jared Goff was.
Sure.
But I don't want him to be that way. I don't want him to be running around because he's been durable, but that durability will run out if he is continually hit or on the run, which he's not running fast.
Want to light up the Lions, want to hear from Lions fans. How does this leave you feeling? The Burkett report, not going to be major players, Ratledge to center, competition at the guards. 248-539-9797. Jeff in Petoskey says, until we see a significant cap space being opened up, I don't expect any free agent signings, and I do expect a reshuffling. The heat on Holmes is only going to ramp up.
Agree. I mean, it's going to ramp up here, that's for sure.
Keep the conversation rolling next. It's 97.1.
Brought to you by Mastercraft Heating and Cooling. The Pistons suffered a 113-109 loss to the Cavs last night to fall to 45-15 on the season. Detroit still holds a 4.5-game lead over the second-place Celtics in the Eastern Conference and is still 7.5 games in front of the Cavs, who are in fourth. The Pistons will try to improve on their record, which is the second best in basketball, tomorrow when they face the Spurs in San Antonio for a rematch from last week's home loss. We also have some announcer news today. Front Office Sports says Jason Benetti will be NBC's top baseball announcer as the network is set to take over Sunday Night Baseball this summer. He'll call a number of weekly games for NBC while still remaining as the Tigers' main announcer for the majority of the season. His role with NBC will be very similar to his role with Fox last year. Speaking of the Tigers, Chris Ilitch spoke to reporters yesterday and was asked about his motivation for upping the payroll this year. He said, quote, "What we're doing in Detroit and Michigan, it's for fans really at the end of the day. I'm really motivated to build a winning championship caliber organization for Tigers fans," unquote. And yesterday, Dave Burkett of the Free Press said he's hearing the Lions won't spend much this offseason. The new NFL League year begins a week from today. At the Corewell Health Sports Desk, I'm Brendan Shabat. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket or Odyssey.com.
Get the feedback. Hear from the people. Burkett's reporting, talking to agents who've met with the Lions. They do not expect a big free agency push, and Ratledge to center, according to one, with competition at the guards.
And here's another aspect to look at. The news that we got yesterday that Drew Dahlman was unexpectedly retiring. 4 years in Atlanta, 1 year in Chicago, had just signed a 3-year deal, was a Pro Bowl center, and he up and retired yesterday. The first thing Ben Johnson did, and along with Ryan Poles, their general manager, was go out and get Joe Thuney, go out and get a number, and Drew Dahlman was one of them, solidify that offensive line. Now they're forced with better timing of Drew Dahlman retiring before free agency and obviously before the draft, so they can address it in a much more productive way this year than the Lions could last year with the timing of Frank Ragnow retiring. But the Lions saw what it was like without a productive center. They have this offseason. They have free agency. They have the draft. They could go out and make a trade. If the Bears in division find a better way to address the offensive line and Ben Johnson convinces Ryan Poles, for us to be championship caliber, we have to have a dominant offensive line. If they do a better job of replacing their retired center than the Lions do a year and a half after it actually happened, that's an indictment on what Brad Holmes is doing and how he sees building a championship football team.
We riot if that happens. I'm serious. Chicago went out and got 3 interior people, flipped the division, won the division, their first place team. If they lose their center and adequately replace him while the Lions twiddle their thumbs, yeah, that's a huge issue here. It's the engine of the football team. I don't need to hear any more analogies about watering the garden. Just go out and do it. And again, John, if they put Ratledge at center, a position he has never played in college and never played in the NFL, and just say, we're going to be good, that's taking a big gamble at a position that they were weak a year ago. And who are the guards that I'm relying on here?
That's the bigger question is, and I'll trust Frank if he says, yeah, what we've seen from Ratledge throughout the course of the year, he took some snaps at center. We never played him in a game there, but I believe that that's the progression for Ratledge. Now, do I think it's going to be seamless? Do I think it's going to be smooth? No, there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be learning moments, especially if you've never played that position. But if you take him out of that guard position and just say, hey, we're going to have competition at the guard spot for who's going to be our starting guards, well, then who's it going to be?
Right, Mahogany.
Competition between good players or just average guys.
Yeah, if it's just day 3 picks that we're just going to Band-Aid up in the middle. And again, I'm going to stress this again. The best centers in the NFL, Creed Humphrey. He didn't trip into playing center. Right. He played it his whole college career, right? Tyler Linderbaum, the center everybody wants from Iowa. You know what he played in college? Center. I mean, John, I don't know that there are very many examples of guys who would pull off what they would ask Ratledge to do here. I mean,
there's not a lot of examples, yeah.
I'd have to go through every center in the league, and I bet you damn near all of them who
played
are
center
good.
In college.
Like Frazier's a guy with the Steelers that they like. We talked about him. He was a center in West Virginia. Yeah, so I think it would be a misstep for a team that can't afford any up front.
Who was the center for Tampa?
Barton?
He was a tackle and guard, I believe, in college and made the transition to center as a rookie.
It's tough.
So it's just an example of somebody that has been able to do it and do it at a high level.
It's two parts. It's the Ratledge thing, which I have a hard time signing off on, knowing how tough that is. And then it's we're not going to be major players. I get it. You don't have cap space, but a Goff restructure like Mahomes restructure creates the space. And
they still have to restructure or cut because they're still not under the cap.
Right. My point, though, is to say we don't have cap space. Aw, shucks. There are several mechanisms and several proven players that you can rob Peter to pay Paul and create that space to deliver urgency, fill out the roster. And if they said, you know what, we are going to roll the dice with our interior three on the O-line, I'd be nervous as hell to see this run back. The counter would be, I'm going to address defense. Right? If you said, hey, Dan Campbell's focused on defense, we got to get better on defense. Look who won the Super Bowl. It's defense. They should still be players in free agency.
They should. And I mean, there's just, again, I'll talk about this with the Bears. If they're able to replace their center that unexpectedly retired, maybe even more unexpectedly,
27
than
years old,
Frank, and because Frank had his injuries, Drew Dahlman is coming off a Pro Bowl season where he wasn't injured. He unexpectedly retires. If they do a better job of replacing him this offseason than the Lions did last year, and now with a full offseason of seeing what happens when you don't have that top-end center, that's an indictment on what they're doing and what their priorities are, especially if they do create cap room and they pay a running back. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I absolutely think he is a key cog to this offense, but this is his fourth year. They will pick up his fifth-year option, which will be the 2027 season.
And they could franchise tag him if they chose for the 2028 season. Jahmyr Gibbs is betrothed to the team for 3 more years of affordable control. The idea that they should race out before he carries the workload and pay him record-setting money, I sure hope that's not what they're going to do with the cash this offseason. And I know you're with me.
Oh, I'm with you, yeah, but
we're nervous that they'll just re-up their own and we won't see impactful moves. And John, here's the thing. They may get away with it in the regular season, right? Playing a last-place schedule. They won 9 games a year ago. It wouldn't surprise me if the Lions did minimal, right, a DJ Reader kind of move or something small and got away with winning 11 games next year and made the playoffs. But if you think this team is good enough at the lines of scrimmage to win a Super Bowl, I don't know what to tell you. And if that's the evaluation from the guy making the decisions, that's terrifying.
Well, to your point, it is you've got to be good up front on both sides of the ball. And if they are going to continue to neglect or put Band-Aids on the offensive line, then what are they doing with the defensive front?
Right. It's got to be one or the other, ideally both. It can't be neither.
Right. And I understand Tyleik Williams. Do I expect him to be better next year? Yes.
Yeah.
But you still have to go out and re-sign Roy Lopez because DJ Reader's not coming back. And Aleem McNeil, I would, if he is pre-ACL Aleem McNeil.
Sweet.
Okay, you have Aleem McNeil, you have Tyleik Williams. Who are your backups going to be? But who is going to be that edge opposite Aiden Hutchinson? Because Al-Quadin Muhammad is a free agent.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, they can't sit on their hands. I guess it comes down to the definition. How did Burkett put it? Major players?
Right. He said multiple agents have met with the Lions at the NFL Combine. Do not expect them to be major players in free agency. And one who spoke with the team believes they will move Tate Ratledge to center and open competition at the guard spots.
Some text coming in. I hate this report. At the very least, Holmes needs to drive the price up for a center for the Bears. If the Bears trade for Crosby and sign Linderbaum, Lions fans are going to hope the earth is flat so they can walk off the edge of it. Signed Brian and Monroe. It's a great text.
Right, because they are the betting favorites to trade for Max Crosby.
If the Lions don't do anything of substance this offseason, Holmes is on the hot seat for me. I'm going to get a lot of that.
We will get a lot of that.
Guys, I doubt there'll be any major moves. They love their own and will keep them on this sinking ship. Again, they've gotten worse the last 3 seasons.
Do you guys think there's any room for the Lions maybe making this more of a 2-year approach because of the amount of problems that they have? Like that they did take a little bit more passive approach this offseason to push it all for 2027, knowing that They've just got too many deficiencies. Like, I want to bring up the injury factor with both Joseph and Branch. Look at McNeil last year and how, when he comes back, we're going to be great. Well, it didn't work out that way. They've got such holes in the secondary right now. This Terrion Arnold thing, who knows what's going to happen? And now you know if he can play. I mean, I've already called him a bust.
Okay, and in fairness...
Well, what do we call it, a bust?
A guy that doesn't do anything. That's a first-round pick.
Sorry, Terrion Arnold. I thought you were talking about Kirby Joseph.
No,
sorry.
And I think we could say trending to, even if you don't want to be that definitive, but I don't want to get hung up on that. You may be right in that this is a multi-year fix because of the problems, but I don't think they can sign up for multi-year. They threw away last year, so now it's a 3-year fix? At the heart of a championship window, we got to do a 3-year retool? You got to try to make it a 1-year retool. You owe it to the guys in the locker room. You owe it to this fan base that feels like they're on the edge. And what, you're going to take a half-wet approach this offseason so you can get them in 2027? And then if that doesn't work, it's get them in 2028? Like, at some point, you got to act the part.
Exactly, but you can't do stupid things either. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Look, I'm with you guys. I was simply asking the question. That you could make the argument that this is a 2-year thing.
Because it's both lines of scrimmage and the
because
secondary.
Because of all the mistakes that they've made.
Right. And so the argument is, or the way it should play out, if that's the tact that they're taking, you should still be a playoff team in this year of this gap year, and then see what happens in the playoffs. And maybe you make a run to the NFC Championship game like you did a couple of years ago, where it was, things kind of fell your way. And then the year after, when you've eaten some salary this year, you didn't go out and sign some free agents, you didn't make the acquisitions. Next year is the year that you're making a push for the Super Bowl. But this year, at a minimum, you should still be in the playoffs.
You don't fix the trenches in 1 year. And they didn't get to address the Ragnow thing because of the timing last year. And if the right thing to do, Taylor Decker says, I want to play. Yeah. Well, maybe you're not going to play here. If the line's willing to make that right decision to get this right long term.
No, I don't think they're going to do that. I think he's going to play this season. My point is that's also an argument for, if you say it's 2 years, well, next year's going to have new needs. So the idea of, we can't address all the needs this year, so we'll do it over 2 years. You're going to have new needs pop up, including Taylor Decker, who probably won't be playing football after this season. So I think there's a danger in saying we're going to take a more patient approach and we'll get them when we get them. We've got forever. This is a team built to contend until the end of time. That's just not how pro football works.
I think you have to try to force the issue this year with this schedule.
Act the part. You got a last place schedule. You compete and win this division. Home playoff game, plural. Compete for a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. We'll get some phone calls in the mix. We'll read some of your texts. It's 97.1.
Hey, when you're injured, you need more than just a great lawyer. You need a great team. That's why only Feminine Law has the accident response team. They don't wait, they act. Crisis counselors help manage the trauma. Medical pros talk to the doctors. Forensic experts are there to preserve the evidence before it disappears. David's team treats you like you matter. This isn't just legal help. It's recovery in action. Get David, get paid means you get more. Put the accident response team in your corner. Give them a call at 855-65-CRASH or visit them on the web at getdavidgetpaid.com.
I don't know what the rush is to pay Gibbs. That's Dave Burkett, Free Press, boots on the ground, what he's hearing. He also added in his article in the Free Press, slotting Ratlich over to center, a position he's never played, and competing guards to fill out the offensive line. In other words, no meaningful additions on the offensive line.
Right. And it doesn't mean you can't make meaningful additions on the offensive line in the second wave of free agency.
Right, but if you're competing at guards, you're not signing a starter. Right? So they're not adding any starting offensive linemen in free agency?
Well, that's been the... Again, we're in the season of smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
And so it is possible that Zeitler wasn't a first couple of days of free agency signing, yet he was a Pro Bowl caliber player, and they signed him later.
And to your point, I think the guard market's going to be a lot cooler than the center market.
Yes.
But I don't want to force Ratlich into a position he didn't play in college and hasn't played in the NFL as the solution with the stakes so high for this football team. We know how important the interior offensive line is. We had a very painful lesson in that this last season. Tech says everyone's upset about the Dave report because the afternoon show pushes outrage. Why would Holmes tell agents his plan? How much do you think Mike and Rico paid Dave for this report?
If it was just coming from the afternoon show, then sure. But
My
these
point is
are
it came
words
from Dave first.
by Dave Burkett.
Yeah.
And Dave is, I'll trust him. He's very in tune with the Detroit Lions. I mean, that's who he covers on the beat. He is not a sensationalist. He doesn't go out there and throw wild ideas at the wall and just see what sticks. But I will give you another report that came out last night from Albert Breer. This is not a contest in who you do trust more. This is just another report. NFL reporter Albert Breer on the Lions offseason. I wouldn't rule out a big swing by Detroit, maybe on someone such as Ravens free agent center Tyler Linderbaum. Getting back to that last text message about Brad Holmes not putting his plan out there for agents to see and talk to. The combine is really where the legal tampering starts. There are conversations that agents have with general managers, and others in an organization because they want to create a plan for their client. Are these, the teams that are interested? Don't think that on the first day of legal tampering, that's when all the phone calls are initiated. No, groundwork is laid before that. Hey, we might be interested in a center.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When Dave says he's talking to agents, it's probably agents of some of those high-profile players.
Sure.
And if they're hearing, the Lions don't have the cash, aren't looking to get in a bidding war, aren't interested in pursuing, that's what leads him to make those reports.
Right.
I don't think he's making it. And you're not saying it either. It's coming from somewhere.
And agents are trying to do everything they can to drive the market up for their clients. So if, I don't think there's a world where where Brad Holmes tells an agent, hey, keep this under wraps, but we want to give your guy a record-setting deal.
Right.
It will leak that the Lions are interested in a record-setting deal because they want to drive that price up for now the Bears that need a center, or the Giants that might be looking at Linderbaum, or the Ravens who want to keep their own guy.
Let's get to Chris in Ypsilanti. Chris, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good to talk to you guys again. One thing that I want to draw our attention to that I don't think we talk about enough as a fan community is like the rules pertaining to cash when you sign new players. I'm not sure if the cap is really the issue. Like the team does a pretty good job of planning out the cap, but when you restructure a contract like we have to do for Goff, what you're doing is you're converting his salary into a signing bonus, which means you have to have that cash on hand. And then, you don't want to just pick up Jack Campbell and Jahmyr Gibbs 5th-year options because you end up eating that entire cap value on the 5th year. You want to do that as part of a larger deal, which means you have to guarantee a lot of that contract, get cash on hand. And then free agency starts, all of those deals, you can fit them under the cap, but you need cash on hand. And Brad himself has said the cap's never really been the issue. It's been having the available cash on hand to do the things that they want to do. The upside here, I'll give you some hope for optimism, is while I don't think free agency we're going to be a big player in, we're sitting on 7 day 3 draft picks right now, 2 4th and I think 2 6th, along with our own 5th and 7th. there's no way this team is going to absorb 7 day 3 rookies. Like
right.
those picks are going to get moved either at the draft or before the draft. And, I think what we saw with the David Montgomery for Juice Scruggs deal is you can acquire talent and you don't have to worry about paying those bonuses, that guaranteed money, because that money has already been paid out by the previous team. That's why there were reports that Brad was aggressively inquiring into a Max Crosby deal before the
because the other team eats the bonus in the trade. Yeah,
exactly.
But Chris, when you just to clarify, cash on hand, the family is wealthy. The team prints money. What do you mean by they don't have the cash on hand to do this?
Well, I don't know if they don't have the cash on hand, and I don't know what the rankings are in terms of overall cash flow and overall team liquidity. But, it wouldn't surprise me if the Ford family said, this is the budget that we have in terms of total cash spends for this team, and we can't allocate more.
So
there's a lot of stuff that we don't know.
And Chris, I want to be careful because we are speculating, but I'm sure there are paying customers of the Detroit Lions that have had their rates increased that don't want to hear about we don't have cash on hand to pull off a restructure or to chase the players that we want in free agency. It's an interesting perspective.
Yeah, but then it goes into, starting the conversation of the Fords don't want to spend the money, where Sheila has operated completely differently.
Right. So that's why I don't want to take a call and attribute this as a narrative now. They should have the cash on hand. I don't think that should be a valid reason.
I don't think that's the issue.
No. A couple quick ones. I'm a season ticket holder, 6 tickets last year. I canceled 2 this season. If they don't address the issues, I'm done spending money on the team. If they don't see something this year different than the last few, or if they don't do something this year, how is it different than the last few years of Caldwell? They made the NFC title appearance, but other than that, they've just kind of been bumping along. It's not going to fly this year. Guys, if the Lions aren't serious players in free agency for at least one time free agent at positions of need, Linderbaum or Hendrickson, I don't think they're serious. Hendrickson led the league in sacks, caused 0 draft picks. Don't have to sacrifice the future. There are moves to be made.
Well,
what?
I mean, the whole thing with Hendrickson, that was 2 years ago that he led the league in sacks. Last year, didn't have a healthy year, and it could be that his body is just starting to wear out.
We're going to bring him up with the Wednesday touchdown. A lot of news around the league. First, Heather with the news.
This news is brought to you by Gardner White. Well, 2 employees at an Ann Arbor Smoothie King are out of a job after allegedly refusing service to a couple because of a Trump shirt. So the woman, the wife, recorded the interaction after she says the employee told her that they weren't comfortable with her husband's hoodie. So the video kind of went viral, posted on social media. And in the video, the couple is telling the employee that what they're doing is discrimination and is a crime. Both employees have been fired. Smoothie King corporate officials, as well as the franchise owner, have reached out to the couple, have apologized to the couple. And in the article that I found, there's an attorney, because a lot of people might ask, well, is it illegal for a private business to discriminate against political views? And this attorney says that it's not. He says constitutional freedom of speech does not apply to private businesses, which means private businesses can discriminate based on political viewpoints. He says some states have laws to protect political speech, but Michigan is not one of them. The attorney also notes that it is legal for Smoothie King to fire employees over political beliefs. So it does sound like I've seen that this couple has already retained an attorney, maybe filing a lawsuit. One of the women, the employees who was fired, I don't know if they were both women, but I know one of them did put up a GoFundMe, which has already been taken down because she said she didn't ask to be videotaped and all sorts of
I don't care if you agree with someone's politics. Serve them.
Yeah.
That's
you're
my
in the
stance
industry.
Yeah, you're in the service industry.
Yes.
People are going to come in with different viewpoints than you all over the political spectrum. People are complicated and complex.
Especially in Ann Arbor.
Serve them the smoothie.
Yeah.
Totally agree. 4 players. Whoa, excuse me.
Not going good.
Oh my gosh. Will be celebrated tonight at the Red Wings game. And there's going to be the beloved broadcaster who will be back in the booth. So Patrick Kane will be honored at a ceremony before a puck drop for becoming the all-time U.S.-born points leader. Dylan Larkin is going to be celebrated as well, obviously for winning gold at the Winter Olympics, along with Lucas Raymond and Mo Sider. And then, like I said, Mickey Redmond will be back into the broadcast booth after undergoing spine surgery in January.
Oh, glad he's back.
So that's going to be great. Michigan's I Voted sticker contest is back. Remember those stickers?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I spent time picking out which sticker I wanted after I voted, right?
Oh,
like
you did?
Yeah, because they were all like different designs. A lot of kids made them, so it was kind of neat. Yeah,
I just took the next one in line.
Oh, no. I sat and I looked at all of them and I picked out which one I wanted. There was one with a fish on it. I think maybe you should have picked that one. Anyway,
sure.
It's back. Every Michigander is welcome to submit a design. It has to be original. You can't do any AI generated content or any like copyrighted content, right? You can submit yours by May 1st. You can use crayons or paint, or digital art is fine as well. And then there'll be a public voting session open in June, and then the finalists will be announced, and the winner will be announced over the summer. Just something fun to do.
Cool.
That's, I guess, all I have time for. That was fast.
Yeah, we got to it a little late. We have one more news. We'll get to the whatever else you got in the 9 o'clock hour. Okay. We've got Red Wing tickets in the 9 o'clock hour as well. Chance to win tickets for Friday night's matchup post-trade deadline. What team will be on the ice against the Florida Panthers? You want to be in the building, listen in the 9 o'clock hour. We'll talk Pistons at 8:50. How much concern is there after last night's performance? And the Wednesday touchdown is coming up next. It's 97.1.
Hey, if you're thinking about a new truck this month, a Ram truck should be at the very top of your list. When you put the Ram side by side with the competition, it's not even close. The Ram truck deals at your Metro Detroit Ram dealer this month are exceptional. For power, there's no competition. On the Ram side, award-winning Pentastar V6 or the Rams' legendary 5.7 Hemi V8. On the opponents, they've got a bunch of full-size pickups, and they offer them at a lot of prices with a 4-cylinder engine. Really? That's completely useless in a full-size pickup. And the full-size Ram 1500 is built right here in Sterling Heights, Michigan. For comfort and easy-to-use technology, nothing beats a Ram. And Ram also offers a 5-link coil suspension, and all it's going to take is one test drive, and you will feel how much smoother a Ram is than the competition. Right now, lease payments on a Ram truck are phenomenal. So are their financing offers for well-qualified buyers. Pull into your Ram dealer today. It's just that easy, and tell them I sent you.
You know, whether it's a new roof, windows, or siding, these are big decisions. You don't make them lightly. When it's time, you want a company you can trust. And for over 30 years, Michigan homeowners know Shaner Roofing. They're bringing that same 5-star service to windows and siding, and here's what sets them apart. Shaner's local, family-owned, and they treat every customer like family. Every roof they install comes with a lifetime transferable warranty. They've earned a 4.9-star Google rating. That's thousands of happy homeowners, and it's a reputation that isn't bought. It's earned through decades of doing the job right. If you're in the market for a roof, if you need new windows, if you need to upgrade and get siding, fix up your siding, you owe it to yourself to get a quote from Shaner. Go to mymichiganroof.com. That's mymichiganroof.com. Shaner Roofing, windows and siding. Michigan's name you can trust. Good morning, 97.1. Jim Costa, John Jansen, Heather Park, Govin Greg behind the glass. A foggy morning.
Oh, yeah.
You just noticing that?
Yeah, it wasn't that foggy when I was driving in this morning.
Really?
Yeah, really.
It's foggy for me.
Maybe I was above the clouds since you drive on the pavement.
Around in a golf cart. Anyway, it's foggy. Be careful on the roads. Hope you have better visibility than it appears Brad Holmes does with this roster. Plenty of feedback coming in on that. The report that they're not going to be big players in free agency. Ratledge to center, the latest from Dave Burkett. You had McGonigle going yard yesterday. Everybody loves seeing that. First pitch swinging 461.
Bomb.
If you think it landed. Because I'm not sure that it did. You had the exit velo at 110?
Yep, 110.4.
For everybody counting, and we are. He had 3 hits. We're certainly counting.
And a walk.
It'd be cartoonish if this dude's not on the opening day roster. We'll spend some time on that. I want to make sure we carve out time for the Pistons. Played last night. The Cavs had talked their talk. They're not on our level. They're not in our class. We beat them in a 7-game series. And, John, they led the entire second half without Donovan Mitchell. Were they right?
Not necessarily. They were right last night. But for the season, now this is the first time, obviously, with James Harden, but you mentioned it was without Donovan Mitchell. 2 for 2 on the series at this point this year. So you get into a 7-game series. If the Pistons are to have home court advantage, now if you look and you say, okay, well, how did they do? They lost in Detroit the first game that they played this year, and that wasn't even close. That was a 21-point.
That was early.
Yeah. And then they won in Cleveland. They won in Detroit, and now they've lost in Cleveland. So it's they've won.
They split
in both places. Yeah,
they split. Look, I don't think Cleveland's some cut above, and Detroit doesn't belong on the floor with them. It was a 1-point game late, and if Detroit had played their level of defense, they win that game. They didn't play poor defense, but they didn't lock in until the final frame in the fourth quarter, and they started turning defense into offense. It's a non-negotiable. When they play teams like Cleveland, who have size, Spurs another team, we know if you don't finish at the rim, if you can force the ball out of Cade's hands, the only path to victory is you have to be elite on defense. And they just weren't until the end of that game, and it was too little too late.
That was, but I also think Cade just wasn't enough last night. It wasn't the Cade that we've come to know and love. Was he bad? Not bad. He just wasn't the superstar. He wasn't the guy that we keep talking about as a possible MVP candidate. He had 14 assists, great.
Which is good. They forced him to get rid of the ball, and he did.
Yeah, but only 10 points, and only 2 in the second half, and those both came from the free throw line.
Yeah. Look, I think you want more at the same time. Like, this is the blueprint. This is what teams are going to do. They're going to get in his grill. They're going to throw extra bodies at him. They're going to say, make the unselfish play, move the ball around.
But he still has to be able to score.
And I think he outplayed Harden. But the problem is Cleveland's more than James Harden, and the Pistons are more reliant on Cade. I mean, that's been the talking point. Is there a secondary creator? Do they have enough perimeter shooting? If they're not getting looks at the rim to fall, and they were flubbing some stuff. It wasn't a clean night. That's why their elixir
is defense.
Is always defense. That's the thing. And JB said it after the game. So I know I wasn't like taking crazy pills. I'm thinking like they can play better defense than this. And that's what he said too.
Right. And their defense last, if you compare it to the rest of the NBA, it was still really good defense.
Yeah.
It just wasn't to the standard that the Pistons have played with for a majority of this season. And it wasn't the standard that you're going to have to be playing for the entirety of the game if you're gonna win a series against Boston. You're gonna win a series against Cleveland. I think last night they would have beaten the Knicks. They would have beaten anybody else.
What's the level of concern? Does it sit in your mind that Cleveland has a point?
No, I think it was the only level of concern. It was an eyebrow raise. I can't necessarily do just one eyebrow
raise.
But it was.